天又到了我们读英文的时间啦。今天是第39篇。其实想想看，这么长时间，给自己带来了很多意义。什么意义呢？就是自己都跟神经病一样，在这读来读去。没有人知道你读来这个阅读给你带来的什么样的一个效果，或者什么样的一个怎么说呢？就是给你带来的一种什么样的效果呀？不管怎么说，坚持就要坚持下去，坚持到底。虽然坚持很难呐，真的很难，那也要坚持。今天第39篇 ，Nuclear Power。Nuclear power is the energy that is produced when the nuclear part of an atom is either split or joined to another atom. It is the most powerful form of energy that exists. Only in this century have scientists learned how to obtain nuclear energy. They have put it to constructive uses. As in nuclear power stations, they have also put it to destructive uses, as in the atomic bomb and the hydrogen bomb. Nuclear energy is safe when it is controlled. It can be made into a useful form of power, but it can cause a disaster if a nuclear reactor leaks or an alarm system fails in the nuclear power station. Radioactive material and radioactive waste are known to cause cancer and genetic damage. That's why quite a few people believe that nuclear power is dangerous, and they are worried about the safety of the nuclear industry. We are now facing an energy crisis, and we need to develop new sources of energy. Nuclear energy is probably the answer to our problems. But when we build nuclear power stations, we must put safety first and provide all the necessary safeguards to ensure that the public is adequately protected if there is an accident. The government has decided to build a nuclear power station at Long Beach, and an isolated Finnish village. A group of demonstrators opposed to nuclear power has occupied the Long Beach site. 感觉这个词读的有点问题。Is refusing to leave until the government changes its decision. The local TV station has interviewed several people, including Bob Robin, the demonstrators' spokesman. They have been asked to give their views on nuclear power. Peter White is the Minister for Power and Energy. He argues that nuclear power is the answer to our energy problems. He says that without nuclear power station, human society would stop functioning. Interviewer: Mr. White, why does the government feel that nuclear power is necessary? Peter White: We are facing a serious energy crisis. All known reserves of coal, oil, and gas will be exhausted within 10 years. It is imperative that we develop new sources of energy immediately. Nuclear power is the answer to our problem. If we don't build nuclear power station now, our civilization will collapse. Bob Robbins is the demonstrators' spokesman. He is strongly opposed to nuclear power because nuclear power can cause terrible damage to the environment. Interviewer: why are you opposed to nuclear power, Mr. Robinson? Bob Robin: we can't allow this power station to be built. I will tell you why. It would cause terrible damage to the environment, and all living creatures in the district would be in great danger. A small leak could cause a disaster. It's our duty as responsible citizens to force the government to abandon their nuclear energy programming. Mark Brewer is an atomic scientist working for the government. He claims that nuclear power is clean, quiet, cheap, and pollution-free. He says that there will be no danger of leakage because the reactor will be housed in a concrete box with walls 6 meters thick. Mr. Brewer, will you see to it that this nuclear power station be safe? This power station will be absolutely safe. There will be no danger of leakage because the reactor will be housed in a concrete box with walls 6 meters thick. Fail-independent alarm system will monitor every square centimeter of the power station to prevent fire or sabotage. People are afraid of nuclear power because they don't understand it. We must educate them. Nuclear power is clean, quiet, cheap, and pollution-free, unlike conventional power using gas, oil, and coal. Furthermore, it is almost unlimited. Harry Wells is also an atomic scientist. He used to work for the government. He says that nuclear power stations can be very dangerous. He warns that the alarm system can fail and that if they do, they will be a disaster. Mr. Wells, do you believe that nuclear power stations can be absolutely safe? I used to believe nuclear power stations were safe, but last month I saw a top secret government report which revealed at least 5 major leaks in the last 2 years. In each case, the alarm system failed and there could have been a disaster. Scientists have too much faith in their own ideas and have helped the government to deceive the public. I think it is time that the truth was told. Nuclear power stations are indeed very dangerous. Joe Forrest is the editor of a well-known scientific magazine. He suggests that we should develop other forms of energy rather than nuclear power. He said that the safety problem associated with nuclear power has not been overcome yet. Mr. Forrest, what do you think of the government's energy policy? I think the government is placing too much emphasis on nuclear power. I mean, it will take many more years of experimentation before the safety problem alone is overcome. In the meantime, I think we should develop other ways of taking energy from the earth, such as sunshine or wind, or the tide, waves, rivers, hot springs, etc. There are lots of alternative forms of energy. They are cheaper, safer, and more convenient than nuclear power. Colin Mueller is a university professor and a resident of Long. He is not worried about the energy crisis. He suggests that people should make more use of the energy provided by the sun, the wind, and so on. Are you worried about the energy crisis, Professor Miller? Not in the least. My house is heated by solar energy. My electricity is supplied by a windmill in my garden, and I go to work by bicycle. If everybody followed my example, there won't be an energy crisis. People are so wasteful, aren't they? Do they really need big automobiles, central heating systems, and millions of electronic gadgets? I doubt it. I doubt it. 加油！加油！